Holy shit, Bert. Check this out.
You walk into your new classroom to meet your teacher, and you see me. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I'm homeschooling.
Do you have any chapstick?
Yeah, here.
Apply liberally.
Equal rights! Free healthcare! Black Lives Matter!
What you listening to, son?
If you hold a gun, and I hold a gun, we can talk about the law. If you hold a knife, and I hold a knife, we can talk about rules. If you come empty-handed, and I come empty-handed, we can talk about reason. But if you have a gun, and I only have a knife, then the truth lies in your hands. If you have a gun, and I have nothing, what you hold isn't just a weapon, it's my life. The concepts of law, rules, and morality only hold meaning when they are based on equality. The harsh truth of this world is that when money speaks, truth goes silent. And when power speaks, even money takes 3 steps back. Those who create the rules are often the first to break them. Rules are chains for the weak, tools for the strong. In this world, anything good must be fought for. The masters of the game are fiercely competing for resources, while only the weak sit idly, waiting to be given a share.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then the homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
You fucking retard!
Well, obviously I want to begin by apologizing for the audio problems in last week's episode. I wish that I could report that I have figured out and taken care of the problem, but I'm really not sure what the fuck happened.
It's because I wasn't here.
It is kind of weird that went down the week that you weren't here. So okay, genius, what's the problem? What went wrong?
I think it's probably gremlins.
There, you hear that? Gremlins. This is what I have to work with, and sadly he does know slightly more about me than technical shit. But seriously, I really don't know, and if push comes to shove, I might have to take my computer into some Geek Squad type fucks. So if there's a missing episode in the coming weeks, that would be why. But moving on, I wanted to ask if anybody can tell me who this is.
Watching Trump and the Americans, it has made me even more determined than ever to restore our unique country through a great repeal act when Labour falls at the next election. I don't particularly care if we're liked by the rest of the world. I care if we're respected. Because right now, Britain is a joke, and it has been for some time. I want the British government to put the British people at the top of the agenda. Yeah! We should make no apologies for that. Learn from Trump. Let's be unapologetically patriotic. Slash tax across the board. Enforce the border. Deport those with no right to be here. Accept biological reality. Fight back against wokery. Bulldoze nonsensical foreign aid. Eradicate DEI. Deliver sensible infrastructure. Carpet bomb public sector waste. Brutally crack down on crime. And plenty more. Let's make Great Britain great again. Thank you.
I pulled that clip off of Twitter the other day in a hurry and figured I'll figure out what that dude's name is later. And that turned out not to be so easy. And it wasn't solely because I didn't know what this guy's name was that I played that clip. It's because I see it as a perfect example of the idea of America spreading democracy the way it was originally intended. To be an example. It was an idea of that we show them how we do things and how well we're doing, and then maybe other countries want to emulate that kind of success. And then somewhere along the way that turned into, we're gonna bring you motherfuckers some freedom, whether you like it or not.
If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
And trying to spread what we all of a sudden started calling democracy at the end of a rifle barrel. And how well has that worked out, eh? In the past few weeks I've mentioned the UK, which I don't follow politics across the pond nearly as closely as I follow them here, but I follow the UK much more than the rest of Europe. And we share a common language, common cultural roots and ancestry. And when I see clips like this, it gives me hope that maybe they can turn things around. And then I see things like somebody getting arrested just for saying they love bacon.
Okay, we love bacon. Why? Because I like bacon. I say he likes bacon.
I mean, here in the US, they don't arrest you just for saying anti-police slogans, let alone pro-police. I know it wasn't about police, but you kinda gotta love the irony. But it's seeming like, and correct me if I'm wrong, any of you limeys out there, but it's seeming like the people are starting to have that moment where they say, okay, we put up with a lot of this stupid bullshit because we were nice. And there was also an update on the little Scottish girl who was arrested for carrying a knife and a hatchet to defend her and her sister. I've seen people saying that she should probably sue the Daily Mail. Good luck with that, because they, along with some other people, did some hit pieces on this young girl who, it turns out, was a victim. The man that was stalking and filming her, oh, well, he got arrested for assault. It seems like the Scotland police tried to cover this one up, until some CCTV footage came out that they couldn't suppress of this dude and his wife stomping these children. And in the early news reports, they kept saying that the claims that this was a migrant is false. I mean, sure, this guy is originally from Bulgaria, but he's lived in the UK for 4 whole years. And then I see the story about the new Home Secretary, which apparently is the equivalent to our DHS Secretary. A Pakistani Muslim. And a lot of the articles I read tried to frame it like she was going to be some kind of immigration reformer. But then when you dig into it, it's like the Democrats here, where that version of reform simply means we just need to process these asylum seekers faster, and that'll fix the problem. So yeah, it's still a hell of an uphill battle you got going there. I'm rooting for you. I should probably also mention the curious case of AFD political candidates dropping dead. You had 6 candidates, all from the AFD party, just bite it within a space of less than 2 weeks.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
And the causes of death ranged from suddenly and unexpectedly and we don't know what happened to, an apparent suicide.
Allegedly.
And a few days after this story came out, there was a 7th from the same party that, what do you know, dead. And meanwhile, back here in the U.S., we had RFK Jr. testifying at this Senate committee, and there were some pretty funny exchanges there. To see Mr. Bernie, I'm a man of the people, Sanders, talking like Albert Bourla personally has his hand jammed up his ass and working his mouth for him. Oh, but it wasn't just Democrats. Pharmaceutical companies own a lot of Republicans, too.
You're saying the Biden administration politicized all the data?
Yes.
Or can't well just
They fired Dr.
go
Krauss.
to the Trump Surgeon General.
They fired Dr. Krauss. They fired all the people who questioned the orthodoxy. They fired Dr. Gruber, Dr. Krauss,
Mr. Chairman, the Secretary of Health.
And they were letting him have it, bitching and whining about him firing the CDC director. It was funny hearing them try to report on that in the news, saying how, well, she had clashed with RFK Jr. recently on policies, and it's like, yeah, he's your boss. You don't get to just clash with him. If he tells you to do something that you're completely against, you either do it or you quit. There is no third road. But he did a good job at this committee hearing. He didn't give them a fucking inch.
Senator, you've sat in that chair
for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we've learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end.
I'm sure they'd much rather go back to the former leadership of HHS. A veritable picture of mental and physical health.
Adolescence is hard and puberty is hard. What if you're going through the wrong puberty? What if you inside feel that you are female, but now you're going through a male puberty?
The argument is, well, they're too young to know.
Actually, the argument is, that's a bunch of stupid bullshit. Yeah, adolescence is hard. Puberty is not easy for anyone. Kids going through puberty tend to feel uncomfortable in their body. It doesn't mean they're going through the wrong puberty. And yeah, teenagers tend not to have everything all figured out at that age. Stop the presses. This is the whole point of consent laws, or not letting kids under 18 get tattoos. Oh, but filling them up on drugs that makes them not go through puberty? So yeah, I'd say from that to RFK Jr. is a hell of a fucking upgrade. And all this shit about not forcing jabs on people, taking it off the recommended shit where it's ever been. Well, now you've got all these bluetards purposefully going out to get yet another booster, because that's somehow dunking on him. COVID booster achieved. Suck it, Secretary Kennedy. Okay.
Wow!
And down here in Florida, the Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo held a press conference this past week where he announced that he's working with Ron DeSantis to end all vaccine mandates in Florida, period. Children will no longer have to go through any of that bullshit in order to attend school that you're forcing them to attend by law. And this was reported all over the local news down here, talking to a bunch of different people like the teachers' unions and fuckheads like that, and they couldn't manage to put one single person who was in favor. It was all, oh, it's endangering children's health, and, normally when you're going to have the illusion of a well-rounded discussion, you have some ringer, the biggest knucklehead you can find to represent the other point of view, so it at least looks like you tried to be balanced. But apparently this time they couldn't find even a knucklehead big enough for it not to make sense why you should have the freedom to decide what does or does not go into your child's body. Apparently even the mouth-breathing Florida retards can still manage to articulate that. And then meanwhile over in the House, the Oversight Committee has had a bunch of the Epstein documents released to them, and this hasn't stopped people like Massey from pushing forward with his bill to make all these files released publicly, which really just is a legislative way of keeping the committee from reneging on their promise to release this shit after they've gone through it. The committee also met with a bunch of the Epstein victims, and I found it pretty funny that big tough Nancy Mace just couldn't handle it and had to walk out in the middle because she started having a full-blown panic attack. Her words. And she's actually one of the people I somewhat like, but that was just come on. And afterwards, the victims gave a press conference where they started saying they're going to work together to compile their own list. So then you had people like Massey and MTG saying, they could actually get sued for that. But we could use the legal loophole that people in Congress have to say whatever they want and read out the list on the fucking House floor and nobody could sue anybody. And for some reason, this is a problem. Imagine being this fucking obtuse. This means the victims do not possess enough evidence to shield them from getting sued. Yeah, I'm sure everybody remembers that episode of SVU when the girl comes in and says, I was raped. And the first thing they ask her is, well, ma'am, do you have any evidence to back up that claim and shield you from getting sued for claiming it? No? Exactly, because that's fucking stupid. Why would you need immunity if you have all the evidence and you're telling the truth?
Are you high?
The way that people are going after Massey and MTG over this, you remember Virginia Giuffre got sued for defamation before she went on to commit suicide, even though she previously repeatedly said she would never do that. Sure, that's what happened. And these victims are saying, yo, these motherfuckers abused us and we want to name them. and they're getting fucking attacked for it? Don't you just feel fucking wrong? And you want to go after Thomas Massey and MTG for actually standing on their principles and doing what they said they were gonna do? Even if I didn't agree with them, I'd have to respect them for standing on principle. But in this case, they're fucking right. I'm not just gonna say, oh well, I guess it doesn't matter, and I just gotta trust who Trump puts in there. Remember what happened with Jeff Sessions and then Bill Barr? Oh, but now I'm supposed to just trust Pam Bondi? Remember what she said not too long ago about the missing minute?
And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Are you sure?
Well, through some of what the House Oversight Committee's already put out, they magically discovered the missing minute. I love this headline. What the missing minute in the Jeffrey Epstein jail video shows. Oh, what it shows is that she's a fucking liar. Or a total moron. Or both. Oh, but you know what else it shows? In that minute, someone unnamed, just called the material handler, walks off screen in the direction of the main entrance and passes in front of the stairs leading to Epstein's tier, but he does not appear to be approaching the cells. Also shows some earlier footage than what the FBI had previously released. That footage started at 7:40 p.m., and this new footage starts at 6 p.m. In the new video, right around 7, Epstein is escorted to the G tier, where according to the Inspector General's report, he was brought into a shower stall to make an unmonitored phone call. In a shower stall. In violation of prison policy. Nobody ever got in trouble for. Allegedly to speak to his girlfriend. Also interesting. And this is the best part. At 7:49, he's seen being escorted from G tier to his cell in L tier, although the limited camera view doesn't actually capture his entrance to the tier. The same entrance to the same tier that they can deduce somehow that the material handler did not appear to approach.
Think about it.
Look, the way this shit has been handled has been awful. They destroyed a bunch of the evidence or hid it somewhere, and you can't find it, and there's a cover-up going on. Okay, tell the American people that. Trying to just gaslight all of us is about the stupidest fucking thing you could do, because way too many people understand the truth of what was going on there. Sorry, but I don't toe the fucking line for anybody. When I see good things happen, I appreciate and applaud them. But when I see stupid or awful shit happening... And like when I heard that Trump was going to be hosting all these tech leaders at the White House, I knew it wasn't going to go like I wanted it to go. Shit, what I would have wanted to see was Trump brings them all in, sits them down at the table, and then gets up and walks over to the door, locks it, and says the Bronx Tale line.
Now you just can't leave.
And then on the other side of the room, a door opens and a bunch of fucking U.S. Marshals come in. Well, you know, I would have settled for the U.S. Marshals coming out and just arresting them all. Probably everyone there you could get for defrauding U.S. voters and shit, probably a RICO case if you actually wanted to dig into it, but that would require Pam Bondi being inclined to do so, and she's a little too busy filing motions for judges to dismiss lawsuits over January 6th because, God forbid, the evidence of what actually happened that day should come out in discovery. And then Bill Gates? Holy shit. And I know, keep your enemies closer, I've read Art of War 2, and shit, when Bill Gates came and had that dinner with him, like 9 months ago, that's exactly what I was thinking. But I'm telling you right now, if some kind of major move isn't made against that asshole, it's about the clearest signal you can get that they ain't draining shit, dismantling the deep state, more like a marginal disruption. And all the horrible things get ushered in right under our noses while we're too busy arguing over who's truly loyal. How about we attempt to do just a little bit less of that moving forward? You know, try it out, see how it works. And I want to finish off with a little piece of advice for those of you out there who might be taking public transit. Don't. I know that's easier said than done, but if you have to and it's unavoidable, don't just assume that, oh, my city is relatively safe, I don't live in a place like New York or Chicago, so I don't need to pay attention to my surroundings. This 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee got stabbed to death in Charlotte, North Carolina, not even a big city, and by the metrics of size of the city and level of crime problems, Charlotte is generally safer than most. And it's sad that we should be made to live this way, but at least for the time being, this is what it is. And zoning out with your face glued to your screen these days can literally end up getting you killed. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. Come on. Look at you now.